What is going on, everybody? I know what you all came for. You came for the 5-minute countdown, so let's run that back. No, I'm just kidding. We're gonna have a great show today. We're gonna have Janie on the show. Big day, so get your questions ready. We're gonna ask her all types of questions. We're gonna have some fun. Let's think. What video should I introduce her? Technically, she's the queen of the castle, but we'll just give her a little Borat.
King in the castle, king in the castle.
And there's Janie. Janie, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Thanks, Candy. Can you hear me okay? Do you want me to turn up my mic?
I can. I don't know if it's everyone else, but I'm hearing you in my left earphone, not my right.
Only the left?
Yeah. It might be on my end. I don't know if that's your mic or it's my headphones.
Let me see. Just technology. Is this better? Can you hear me?
Yep, that's better. I can now hear you on my right ear as well.
Okay. Well, then there we go. Perfect.
Okay. Well, good. Nice to see you. You got some nice lighting going on. You got a very professional looking backdrop there.
Totally. This is my board. Yeah. I actually am in the middle of a family room because my wife took my office. And then this is just an old iPhone that I turned into my webcam. So
it works.
You gotta fake it till you make it.
Okay. Some people in the chat are saying it's still soft.
Okay, let me turn it up more. 1 second. Now I think hopefully now you can hear me more. So let's try that.
I think this is definitely better.
Okay.
That's better.
Great. Perfect.
Okay. All right. So they're stopped spamming volume in the chat. So I think we should be doing good.
Volume.
There you go.
I hope I just blew out some people's ears.
Yeah, apologies to the people that are going to be listening to this on podcast. But anyways, I'm very happy that you're here. We're in an interesting time. There's a lot of things going on Twitter. I mean, maybe not so many things going on the NBA wise, but definitely the community is always either hot and bothered or happy or one or the other, never really in the middle. So we're glad to have you. I guess we could start off right away. We know that the S4 is about to be here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about whatever you can share about what has you excited thinking about what's to come for S4?
What I'm excited about is not making the same mistakes that we did in Series 3. I mean, we did a few things right. I think it was just at the end we kind of got a little bit too fancy. But I think Series 4 we have a really strong story to tell in terms of we've got good use of rookies. We have a really good supply strategy. We have really great athletes lined up. It just makes a lot of sense the way that we've laid it out, where it's not going to feel maybe so random or kind of hectic. There's just a really good beat to the season that I'm really excited about. So, yeah. I'm trying to
Okay.
also check the comments, but I yeah, I can't. I wish I could say more, I guess, about some of the details of S4, but I also don't want to give away too much of the thunder for the actual announcements. We can talk to you a bit about the leaderboards and the snapshots and stuff that I know some people have, which is leading into S4. So whatever you got, give it to me.
Yeah. Well, I think first off, I know that a lot of people are sort of eagerly awaiting the roadmap, um, hoping for the best, obviously, and probably
Yeah.
some people fearing for the worst and hoping for the best. Um, what more can you talk about in terms of supply? And I say that also because I know that there was a little bit of a um, some confusion maybe that among Twitter where people were talking about net neutral, net negative, and locking, and how locking affects future supply and it's treated as negative. And there was some language that I felt was just a little bit gray or cloudy. Can you talk on that at all?
So there's like a whole equation to it. I think that some people, the way that people are asking is more that they're worried about us uh, cheating our way to staying net neutral rather than actually cutting supply. Like our actual supply is reduced by over 60 something percent, and that's just planned. That's not even like factoring in other things. So when we say net neutral, it is a combination of factors, but the actual plant supply is, if you look at series over series, it reduced by over 60%. So
Okay.
that is not a that is there's no denying on that. Um, but that's the plan, is to be net neutral. We do take a hit though in terms of what it means for us on the back end in terms of revenue, and I'm
Right.
willing to take that hit if it means that we can get new users in the door. Um, Also, the hope too is that we can increase our Grail prices. So I know we talk a lot about the floor, but really the ceiling is a great indicator of our market as well. And if we have a healthy ceiling, it means that kind of all things are rising. So if you had like a chart with a line that started at the bottom and kind of went up like this, if you move that bottom endpoint up maybe like a factor or order of magnitude 1 or 2, that's kind of where we want to start at in terms of, if we have a high ceiling, it means like the whole market can shift up.
I think that makes a lot of sense actually. And I think sometimes we've seen people argue against that in a way, which is some messaging that I've heard in the past, and I can't remember from who exactly, but messaging that was like, oh no, it doesn't matter if there's like way more moments because the scarce stuff is always scarce. But I think I know I felt, and I know it seems like you feel the same way, which is like that doesn't really tell the whole story because once there's a little bit too much out there, and we're seeing this with NFTs in general as well, um, the confidence starts to leak out. With
Mm-hmm.
that oversaturation goes the confidence, and that probably affects the top of the stuff too. Because we're seeing that right now. Go look at the market cap of like OpenSea or like how much business they're doing every day. It's also taking a giant hit. And I think in large part probably because of projects saw that they could continue making more releases, and that kind of is where we are. Of course, there's other macro factors as well, but I do think that that is a major part of the story. So I'm glad to hear that. Um, Actually, that was part of my question as well. Honestly, when you first joined NBA Top Shot, when you first joined Dapper Labs, were you also starting to get your feet wet in the world of NFTs right around that same time, or were you already getting your feet wet? Because I'm curious what your thoughts are on the way the NFTs function in terms of how the market and its customers function, but applying it from other NFT projects as well. And I wonder if you do that
Yeah.
at all.
Top Shot was my first NFT. I got into NFTs because of the product team at Madden when we were planning Madden 21. They got me into Top Shot. I think that's a good thing and a bad thing. I think I joined when I started buying a ton of NFTs after. Like Roham used to be like, I buy an NFT week, and I was like, I'll do that. And then my wife's like, we're not billionaires, so can you please stop buying an NFT week? So, but I that's how I kind of got into it really quickly. And I think but it's the way I like to learn in terms of like, I have a lot of credibility I need to achieve with our community because I'm not from the community as some of the people on my team or even within an organization are. And I understand that. I know that. And I've been humbled by it many times, but I also have used that as like a, a motivator for me to be closer to the community and to um, not uh, not consider myself, one of us until I actually can prove it. But I mean, I used to work in sports betting and DFS. I worked at Reddit. Like I've been around the culture, or and I've been in gaming my whole life. And I always knew too when I was in gaming that all of the millions and billions of dollars that people spent in our games didn't mean anything at the end of the day. And I just felt like there will be a reckoning with gaming where gamers are going to realize, like, why am I spending a decade in Madden, or well, hopefully, please stay in Madden because I still have my shares. But why am I spending a decade in a game, or spending hundreds of thousands of dollars and it resets every year, or like I don't, if I stop playing that game, I can't sell anything that I've either created, crafted, or bought in that game. And I think that is one of the reasons I was like, there is a window of my success in gaming, and I don't want to be left where I didn't see the trend of people realizing that they can own digital, like companies don't own digital assets necessarily anymore. Like you don't have to worry about, like, well, if I stop playing Madden, that means that all of my career mode and history of Madden like goes away. Like that doesn't have to be that way. So but with NFTs, for me, I dabble more too though in like women-led NFTs. I do some of the sports betting and like some of the other sports NFTs. Like I said, I have like 10 different ETH wallets, and I feel so like I don't like to be I like to be a little bit more anonymous in some of the projects. And then obviously I'm an advisor on some, like one being like Pogs, just because I played Pogs as a kid and I like the hustle of it. Kind of reminds me of a lot of things I used to do, like Magic and whatnot, on the blacktop. So degen starting, in the early years.
Got it. Well, I like that because it means that you are in amongst the community itself, and you get to learn from all the people in those discords, and you're not just in like the glass tower. So I think that's important. What can you talk about though? Because you just talked a lot about like gaming. Is there any ambition on your end to? Because how would you describe like the game factor of Top Shot right now? I should say.
I mean, this is a loaded question because I don't think we really have game modes. Like I think we have different types of ways you can win within Top Shot. Some people are collectors through and through, and they like to complete sets, and they're more of the completionists. Some people are there to play the market, so they're the ones that are transacting on a daily basis, or looking at the requirements for challenges, and buying and selling. And I made the comment too about chess and checkers, and I reflected on, like, it's a lot of arrogance, I guess, on my part, being that it's a way to play. If you want to play and you want to play that speculative game, it's fun. I like go play it. I think actually S4 will be interesting because to keep it interesting for those people that like to play more of that daily type of market, there's going to be, like rookies, for instance, is a great example of being able to potentially at the beginning of the season, buy into rookies that you think are going to make it. Like my card collecting strategy is I always buy every single rookie of a set, and just hope that out of the rookie class, I get like a few that actually make it, and I just like save them for 5 or 10 years, go back and look at like any appreciation and value, and then decide if I want to sell them or give them to my kids or whatever. So I think there's things like that, and I hope there's more gaming, but I also want it to be more third party driven. Like I don't want us to turn into like a pure gaming company where all of a sudden we have a bunch of like shitty in-app purchases and ads popping up and all of that. Like that's not what I want. What I want is like you'd be able to go to Top Shot and potentially there's like a play button, and you'd be able to see all of the third-party apps and games that are connected within our ecosystem, and you'd be able to use your moments in any capacity. And there's been a lot of products that have been created. I don't know if I can legally name a few just because I don't know who's listening. So I'll say there's a lot of products that are very interesting and creative, and that's what I want more of is users being able to come to the platform every day, even if there's not a drop, and play the marketplace, great. But let's say that they want to play a casual game, or maybe they're more into career mode or some more of a hardcore game or something like that. Like they'd be able to use their moments in whatever capacity that they want. So that's my hope, is that
Yeah,
gaming is more of a opt-in rather than it becoming like the norm, the spine of our product.
got it. So, okay, because what I heard there is you'd almost like to have a catalog of offerings that you can leap off of Top Shot to get to, not so much on the Top Shot website itself, but more like here's our partnering products, and you could go enter a daily fantasy here. You could go do something else
Yep.
there, and that's kind of where the head is at right now. Although you did say the magic word hardcore, I have to I
uh,
have to ask you if I mean, what can you say? Is there anything you can say about that?
so when I joined, again, I didn't join from the community, so I don't know. I now know a lot of the things we have promised to the community, but when I joined, I didn't know what hardcore even meant. And then as I started hearing about it, I'm like, so you're telling me that you promised the community that we would have a functioning game within a year? I'm like, you guys are fucking idiots. uh, because I've been in gaming, like it takes years to build an actual good game. Like it's not
Right.
that's not it, but also like people don't know what they don't know. So I was like, we'll get a game. Like I absolutely think we will absolutely like have a game, whether that's acquired or we build it ourselves, but it's not coming in like the next 5 months. Like it's not coming next probably year. I mean, that's hence though the third party. Like I think if I am more than happy for like a 2K or any other gaming company to be able to build and like let and we be able to let our moments like be leveraged in those types of games. Because what if hardcore's a shitty game? What if like no one wants to play hardcore, but everyone likes to play their other games? I do see us though having some sort of gaming side again, but um I'm not confident that internally that we have the skill set to build a really good game. So I don't want to promise that when it's just not something I've seen, because we're not a game studio. Yeah, we don't have billings right now to spend on a game. I think that our wheelhouse is fixing supply, focusing on the economy, growing users, having a platform, and then letting people plug in, letting game studios plug into our our platform, and having that kind of be the I mean, but I mean like hardcore, I would say, is probably going to be more of like the vision uh of games in general. Um, I wouldn't. I, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sorry that was. I don't know what to say.
No, I like that. I
If,
like
if
that.
if
That
everyone
was
wants me to build hardcore, let me know. But I'm going to give you like a 3 to 5 year commitment then. So
yeah, just
yeah,
give it 10 years and ask again.
yeah.
Someone actually asked an interesting question actually about why are gamers, so you're coming from the gamer side, and I don't want to get stuck on gaming, but why are gamers so against NFTs? Have you seen that? Like people, the gaming community thinks NFTs are awful. Do you have any quick take on that?
Yeah, I mean, because the an unknown big gaming company that came out with NFTs quite quickly in their game created another way to monetize gamers when the gamers are already over monetized. So a
Mm,
gamer comes in, they have to buy this, that, and the other. They've got to burn this XP. They got to and gamers already are being sucked like a vampire for their money when all they want to do is play a legit game and like not they already pay money up front for a game, or free to play even is actually a lot more money than if you were to just pay upfront for a game. So the NFTs that were created by these gaming companies were looked at as just another in-app purchase rather than a value add. Like it didn't
mm,
give you much of anything else. So I think it really turned gamers off because they didn't do it in the right way. It wasn't positioned well. Um, and even like play to earn games right now in Web3, there was the rise and fall of a bunch, and
yeah.
they all turned to the dark side of like, well, we could get more revenue if we did this, or if we just added this new component for in-app purchases, or if we can add this in-game purchase, like then all of a sudden all you're doing is like it's a pay to win. It There's no fun in it. every time you advance, there's some sort of paywall or some sort of thing that you're like just nickel and diming, and you're like, well, this kind of sucks. I'd rather just either spend the money up front or like buy the things I want to buy and just play a game and it not being part of the actual core loop.
Mm.
So
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a good explanation. Um, so other questions here. So, well, real quick, we talked about the website, and this is something I've been thinking about in the past as well, which is like right now, going to the NBA Top Shot website is very much like transactional. There are some burning or challenge that's like the challenge element, but there anything internally where you guys are trying to think of like how do we make this a destination that people come to besides just buying, selling, or entering challenges?
yeah, I think for one, like that whole like aspect of play. Another is even with RSVPs for queues, I still think there's an aspect of how do we get people to want to come to our site. I actually think I would love that if people are more RSVPing for queues, and that used to be like the what number are you and all that, and then people would lose 5 hours of their day. Um, Instead, it'd be like like people can come into the queue. There could be concerts. It could be a watch party. They jump in and out. They could see some players doing an AMA. Like it's and and there's all this fragmentation around even the chat. There's Twitch live streams. There's spaces going on around the queues. There's Discord chats. That there's like all of these things, and I would like all of that to be more centralized on the platform. So it's like kind of the one stop shop to engage and understand what's going on, but also be part of the culture or watch the games and just be a little bit more centralized. So the experience of a queue, but without it being like staring at a number for 5 hours, it actually being something that you would potentially want to jump in and out of. You could be there for 5 hours if you really want to, but it being more of like a hub for like, and everything kind of goes around it. I don't know if I was answering your question. And then the other aspect. So, we talked about gamers or we talked about games in general, the entertainment layer of it. And then obviously tying back into the game. I think we've tested a few things like flash challenges. There's some third parties that are doing a great job of like potentially things around in game. We're the one thing too around like actually delivering on players, and I've seen some questions around player leaderboards, but the idea that players should be connecting with their fans, and I think leaderboards will be able to help that. Like if players know that their top 10 fans or their top 100 are going to be at the stadium that day, or there's like some level of like knowing like of my 5 million Twitter followers, my I deterministically know that my top 100 are these Top Shot users that have spent this much money, that have grinded out this much in order to just be on this leaderboard. Like they would obviously want to know who are those people. Maybe I'll whitelist them for my next sneaker drop. I'll, at the game, I'll give them a jersey or something like that. Like we want it to be enabled that way too. So it's not just us as much as we're giving out rewards, that like it's also player enabled. So players would be able to have their own, they'll probably have like their own sign in. And even like I was looking, sorry, I'm going all around, but I think this is a good point too. It's like I was checking stat recently that of the Dapper balance that we give out to players, like 80 something percent go unused. And to me, that's more of an idea of like players are really busy. They want to know, they like want curated stuff. Like tell me what I should be buying and like let me engage that way. Like they're not going to be sitting on the site all day. And so I think that we need to do a better job of like almost like customer service with players to get them engaged with like, hey, X player, I think that you should be, here's a few moments, or here's a drop coming up. It really aligns with your brand or what you're doing or the kind of style that you are as a player. Like there's some connection there, and making it super easy for players, and it being not a huge time suck. Also, 100% of players are on their phone when they're engaging with Top Shot. They're not on desktop. So, and maybe we talk about the mobile app, but the mobile experience has to be excellent. Like we don't even have a sign in button right now on our mobile site. It just says like sign up or something like that. Like there's no login. So we have like a lot of work to do on that side as well.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just hearsay or not because I'm not as like in the all day streets as some of these other people, but I hear some people saying that like, oh, the players are way more engaged on all day. Is that just people talking? Is that true? Like,
It's
are
not
from
true.
your
I mean,
so
it's not true.
okay.
Uh, but but I think that but it goes back to um, players, it's like, hey, try this product, get this, and we had a lot of players engaged with Top Shot. And the thing that we didn't do well is we gave players the ability to engage with the product, but they're busy too during the season. They're playing games. They're in practices. Like, we need to make it so it's like part of their, like, all right, checking 10 minutes in Top Shot every day. Like, all right, buy that, buy this, or, gift this, make it like super easy. And right now we don't have a lot of tools at it. So you got to throw humans at it. So so throw some ops people at it to fix a problem until we can get automated tools. So then players can log into like an actual, portal and do their thing.
But I think what you said though makes sense, which is that a lot of these players are so busy that like expecting them to go browse and buy and sell, and that does seem like a tall task. Like I know we have a few players that have done that, like namely Harrison Barnes and I think like Cole Anthony. Um, but outside of like a small handful, and maybe you just have to go to the players who are like the sort of nerdy players who go home and play video games and log on to Top Shot. I mean, maybe that is kind of where it has to go, because otherwise it does seem like these guys are probably just, you know, watching their macros and their nutrients and and they don't have
Yeah.
time for anything else. I mean, because that's where my head goes with
Yeah, I
this.
mean, we got to do a better job. What one thing that All Day does really well too. They do a lot of things really well, but they give a really good, um, they give really good feeders to players. So like, hey, here's how to talk about us, or hey, say this, and players won't say anything about us unless we give them some, you know, hey, today these are really interesting things if you want to tweet about us, or something that's really exciting, and it goes back again to like engaging with the players on a more of an ongoing basis, rather than like we have these grandiose launches with the player, but then you don't hear from them or you don't see them for months at a time. Like, that's our fault for not leveraging them well, and players want to be involved. They want to be part of the platform. We just need to remind ourselves that it is our work to get them there. It's not their work to get them into the platform.
But is there some way that you guys can sort of get a feel on like what players might be more likely to be more involved and what players treat it more like a one-off?
Yeah.
Like,
I look at it as like the younger players, the rookies, are more likely to be engaged because also they're the ones that aren't old school. Like, old school players, they got their financial advisor, they got their brand manager, they're already a business. Like, they got their things. But the younger players are now starting to think about, how do I use technology, and how do I have a strategy that's a little different than the older generation of NBA players or W players. And I think that's where you get them, like overall, is get the rookies on board, and then the next class, for more of the old school players. I don't want to say like old and young, but there are big players that we obviously want to bring in because they have a lot of that clout. But I don't expect that we will be mass adopted by uh, a lot of the big players if they're busy, unless we make it really easy, unless there's a value prop. Like unlike Twitter and all of these platforms where it's a lot of noise and you have millions and millions of fans, and you really don't understand who are the ones that really are coming to your games and buying your sneakers and like actually a fan. Or they say they're this the biggest Steph Curry fan, yet they have like only James Harden moments or something. Like, there's like some legitimacy to what you buy. um,
mm,
and I think that this gets players a lot closer to determining, yes, I want to give more of my time to this cohort of fans because they deserve it. Not like looking at a stadium, there's 36,000 people in the stadium, you're like, I wonder who's here I should be paying attention to, or that like who's here that I need to wave to or give a jersey to or make sure I pay extra attention to. So I I see the long game as us being almost like an analytics platform for a player, just as much as we are a trading platform. Like, we have to have a value to the player. Players already have a lot of money. They're we got to help them with their brand. We got to help them with their Web3 strategy, but also like why? Like, why would a player need to have a Web3 strategy? What is in it for them? Is it for the longevity of their brand? Does it give them access that they couldn't with their fans? can they help their own, their own partnerships or something with the type of access that they would get from Top Shot. And then also just like, I think players also want to know that people like them, that they're loved, that like, that there's, and it's not a ton of resource. We're not saying, hey, players, you need to like go to these people's houses to, say hi. They can just, hey, why don't you gift these, your top fans, these autograph moments, or send them this, or do, it's like the least amount of friction, but a high engagement, and making it just really honest interaction. And, even the real life stuff, when I look at our community engaging with, the players, and it's just a really natural engagement. It's not super freaky, like this weird line of people. It's like people shooting around, asking them questions. It's a very cool community and casual community. And every time players walk away, they're like, wow, that was really great. I really love the community. I want to spend more time with them. How do I get more engaged? So again, it goes back to us. Like, we need to do a better job of helping players figure out how to leverage the platform and stay engaged, and doing it in the least resource sucking manner for a player, especially during end season when their time is very limited.
Yeah, my head just went to, it almost feels like you're giving them a way that they could actually have like almost a fan club type of thing, but you are organizing the whole logistical side and organization side. Like, here are your fans judging by their collections on NBA Top Shot, and we will make it easy for you to like keep in contact with these people, know who these people are. I do think though that a player probably also wants to have some control over that, where they'd be like, oh, I want to offer them a new sweatshirt I just created and I want to potentially sell that to them. Like, there'd be some kind of a back and forth, I think, where they feel like they're getting like a nice slice of this pie in terms of control, in
Yeah.
terms of like giving the messaging that they feel they want to. And then you guys also get a good percentage of just the attention from the players and the authenticity from the players.
Yeah.
So that mutually beneficial situation, instead of, yeah, because I think if I'm guessing, like a player wants to know like how they can have control as well, and not just, mostly it might appear that it's like very much on the Top Shot side, and
Yeah.
they need to feel in
And
control as
I
well.
I also hope that like we can show the other side of players too. Like Sylvia Fowles is a mortician. Great. Uh, I'm a big baseball fan, so I used to go to A's games all the time with my dad, and we don't go as frequently. But I remember like walking by Sweeney or something on the Dodgers, and he gave me freshly baked cookies because he loves to bake, like or like Barry Zito, who's like in yoga and plays guitar, and like I think it's like really cool to know the personal side of players, but do it in a way that isn't super awkward or Oprah feeling. Like it's like this big interview. It's more just like casual. Like how can we create those casual interactions where you're like, oh, like um, I didn't realize that, like, being able to chat with the player and being like, oh, we're big fans of this, or I didn't know that you also were, because a lot of players obviously have hobbies, golfers, like they've got hobbies outside of what they play. And I think sometimes too, players like to not talk about just their craft as much as they're just humans. And collecting, I think, is also like kind of makes it more of like a humanistic thing rather than just talking about your stacks, or why you missed this, this basket, or you got beef with this guy. So
Yeah, I hear that, and I also think that's also what makes Top Shot. Because I was going to ask you this also, which is terms of growth, in terms of how do we get people on the platform? What is the unique selling proposition? I believe that's the word. And to me, it's always, my head always goes to, it is giving people experiences that they couldn't possibly buy. And I think
mhm.
that's where, when you are shooting with Channing Frye and talking about his favorite Netflix series at the moment, like that to me is the experience you just can't buy. So that's where my head goes. And thank you to Alexo. I had to go to YouTube, but I see it was a picture that said noob. So Alexo, I think you must be calling me a noob. I appreciate that.
Probably me.
Um, well, one of us, I don't
I'll
know.
take it. Yeah, I'll take it.
But yeah, that's great. I like that. That all sounds pretty good. All makes a lot of sense. I'm definitely excited to see what happens with player interaction and where that goes, because it does seem like it's kind of starting to pick up some momentum. We're seeing things like the tour and
Mhm.
certain players get involved IRL, and then you also get their moments. That was also very cool and very new. Um, what else can we talk about? I know that recently,
Do you want to talk
yeah,
about kiosks?
yeah, let's talk about kiosks.
So I feel like you really actually want to ask you first, why do you like
Yeah,
kiosks?
because they're so pretty and glowing.
Yeah, what's about tell me. Give me your
Well,
pitch on why kiosks.
yeah, so I mean, I think that my clip that I clipped, let's say, gave my opinion there, but my opinion is just that it is such a um, it's such like a force to be reckoned with. It's such an incredible visual thing, in my opinion. When I saw those kiosks, I never saw it in person,
Mhm.
but when that was happening in Vegas and when I was talking about it on stream, everyone was just geeked out. Everyone was getting all bullish. They're like, "Holy crap, this is the future! Like this is unstoppable. Like you can't take your eyes off this thing. No one like this is undeniable." But it felt like an undeniable force in a way. And from again, it's more, in my opinion, though, it's more of like a traditional marketing approach. It's just like, whoa,
Mhm.
look at that incredible thing, and less of like,
What's the last kiosk, not a Top Shot kiosk, but the
yeah,
last kiosk that you're like, holy shit, that was really cool, that
I
you weren't a
probably
customer of?
I can't think of one.
So I guess that's my only thing is when I think of kiosks, it can't be for vanity of like I'm a Top Shot user and that's a cool kiosk. It has to be something that like new users be like, oh, that's super cool. Like I want to be part of that. And I am on board as long as it's of that filter of like, um, how do we get new users to stop and be able to understand? Because like I don't think anyone really. I don't do a good job explaining Top Shot in a way that someone instantly can understand it, and that's really our fault for overcomplicating things and adding too many layers. But that's also what I want is like to peel it back a bit and have a little bit more of a uh, really crisp explanation of what Top Shot is. Um, and the kiosk should reflect the value prop immediately to a new user. So I am totally on board. If we want to make it look like Space Jam or we want to make it look like the inside of a locker room or whatever it is, I'm on board. But the for me, the metric for kiosk should be how do we get new users or potential new users to stop and take a second to be like, holy shit, that's really cool. And existing to point it out and be like, hey, look at how cool this kiosk is. And then hopefully by the growth of sharing that as well as actually the foot traffic of that, like I'm on board. It just has to have a good strategy. And I think we need to test a few things. I think we would need to test it a few times to get it to work. But yeah, I'm just giving you shit. I think
No, I
kiosks
like it.
are interesting. It just needs to be part of yeah, it needs to be part of a strategy. So it's not like, like a like the a Dunkin' Donuts kiosk like in a stadium. Like that's great. Everyone, people walk by it, but it needs to feel um, very top shotty. And we've done things like how about a Top Shot lounge? And at DraftKings, we sponsored a bunch of bars and we had kiosks where you could submit your lineup. I don't know if I saw the numbers on that. It was great for kind of existing people that were already drinking at the bar, but I think for Top Shot, like I would. Oh, here's the box. Adult dating sites.
Oh, we got
Um,
some. Oh,
got some
nice. We
finally.
made it. We
Yeah,
made
we
it.
made it. We made it. Um, um, but and I also am not opposed to having. Actually, I think it would be great to have community people like at games helping support. I just don't want it to be like a weird like street team vibe to it. I want it to
Yeah.
be like, hey, we're here watching the game. Like, hey, why not join us or like do something that doesn't make it feel like it's a cult.
Yeah. Well,
See what I
I
mean?
have a good I have a good video clip for that. But
Okay, good. Yeah.
real quick though, thank you. We cleared up that I am the noob. Thank you, Poker Pro Eric.
Oh, there you go.
But
But yes, kiosks.
my counterpoint to your point though would be that I haven't encountered many kiosks that I've loved and talked about, but that's probably because in this scenario I imagine that these are a bunch of NBA fans who have some understanding of, let's say, trading cards and like the value of trading cards and things like that, and that might close the gap, in my opinion. And that Dunkin' Donuts thing, if I'm at like a breakfast an arena that is all about the best breakfast foods, and you got your little Wendy's table, but then the Dunkin' Donuts is this massive glowing kiosk, I probably would go to that Dunkin' Donuts kiosk. Um,
Okay.
so I think it's all
All right.
relative,
Vibing.
but on your point, I do agree that something needs to close that gap, which kind of quickly explains like why this is something that's special. So
Yeah.
I know that some people said here that we had like lines around the corner in Vegas. Although to that point, I don't know if those were like mostly Top Shot users who knew that a kiosk was going to be there, et cetera, et cetera. I feel like for to
They were
close
mainly existing Top Shot users, but
right, which makes sense.
but it
But
was
to
also
yeah,
our onboarding sucks. So we also have to get better. So it can't take someone 30 minutes with a X% error rate of actually being able to sign up to the platform. It has to be very like a very slick onboarding process. So you're at the kiosk, you get it done, buy a moment, you sign up, buy a moment, and then you're in and out. Not like you're sitting there and then the line is like out the door, which is a bad thing potentially because your onboarding is so shitty. So
right.
I think there's that too of like when we need a really clean and slick onboarding experience. Kiosk.
Maybe that's the mobile app too, because maybe once you have the mobile app,
Yeah.
getting on is
Yeah.
just like
Mobile app.
sign in with Apple ID, bing bang, and you're in.
Yeah.
And
That's right.
um, so I can see that. But yeah, so I don't know. I think with kiosk at like a card show, it made a lot of sense to me as well
Yeah.
because then like
Yeah.
the unique selling proposition makes so much sense, which is like you don't need to grade it. Here's some huge sales that just happened. Rip a pack live right now for a few bucks. Boom, you get it,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, I'll spend
Yeah.
$9 right now.
And Steady Breaks did a great job actually at the national. Speaking of card shows, with like just even having a booth. So I think where I would want to try it is kiosk at games, kiosk at like road shows or card show, like getting kind of kiosk in Vegas near sport. Like I want to try it with a few different types of segments that we're looking at and seeing where kiosks perform the best. Like these are all helpful to get even data points for us to know where we need to expand the market and like how we can get better at finding our new audiences. So I would like to kind of do those types of how I would probably test it out.
Yeah, that makes sense. We do have a question here and a support there from Coffee Attack. He's asking, what is the latest on ultimate moments? If it's not dead, then is the idea of giving them to the players still on the table? So I think he's talking about the platinum ice moments,
Platinum ice. Yeah, platinum ice.
right?
Um, I'm burning them. We're burning them as far as but I can't confirm. I will just say I am team burn. I am team burn. I think I like the idea though of high value products. Like I still think that we need, and this goes back to like the whole grails and having, thinking about our ceilings. I just don't think Platinum Ice was well executed in terms of good idea, but like it's not very sexy or doesn't feel very significant to have every single moment we've had is minted to Platinum Ice. Like that to me is not the definition of scarcity or the definition of like something valuable. So I want to burn Platinum Ice, but it doesn't mean we're not going to have something that's like ultimate or something something that could come out that could be cool and sexy and high value. I just don't think Platinum Ice is my vibe. It's our vibe
Yeah.
right now. So yeah, I want to get rid of it.
So speaking of burning, do you have anything? Do you have any opinions? It's early to say, but we just started with these locker room packs for S1. Um, I guess it's hard to come up with an opinion on this because it's literally launched today. Uh, but I think some of the people that are a little bit counter the approach currently is they feel like it's going to take a very, very, very long time to get all the supply out. And I know Colton's in there. He had some other takes that I forget. But is there any, what are the thoughts on like the locker room? Are we happy with how the locker room is working right now? Is there any ideas of burning in the future?
Um, I am happy with the locker room. I think it's a better use for mixed types of packs rather than our attempt at blended packs are kind of back in February when we just positioned it wrong and it was kind of the wrong. We just rolled it out wrong. So I think locker packs are great in terms of being able to let people kind of test their luck and be able to try to get something that's of high value. I would though like to potentially modify it so that there's gates, maybe Top Shot score gates, so you have a better chance at something better. Like there's different tiers of locker rooms potentially. Oakland A's locker room's the worst because obviously they don't spend any money. It's like from the 70s, and then you got your state of the art. No, but like uh, I think there's a lot more we can be doing with locker room packs or locker room in general, and also mixing. I don't want to give up too much. I will say, yeah, I think locker room's a good idea. I don't think it's the end state yet. I think we need to lean. I like the idea of being able to have mixed, kind of maybe throw a rare in there every once in a while, or you're even having some inventory go straight to locker rooms too. I think it's a good way for potentially to like new users to roll the dice a bit, and test their luck. I think the higher value collectors or collectors that are willing to spend more for the better odds don't necessarily have to go into a locker room. I mean, they might want to rip packs all day at the right price point, but if I buy pretty much rare packs most of the time, it probably wouldn't be something I would dabble in unless I had just like extra money or something rolling. But like, I don't want it to be forced upon users that are willing to pay a higher price to get to have a rare pack or something that is not, just commons or something where like I saw the feedback, right? Like in February, and like when we position it just poorly. And so I think locker room is a good avenue for people to know this is where I go if I want to test my luck. And this is where I go to if like, I want to have some entertainment and rip packs with some friends or like, just like, again, a different type of play mode. And again, it's just offering those different kind of variations so people feel like they've got some options, and that new users too can have an option to potentially have a path to getting something, scoring something big, especially if we're going to be if we gate queues more, if we have more priority queues, we have less supply. So there's even going to be less room for a new user to get something really good. And that's important to try to figure out how to protect, but do it in a way too that doesn't screw over the rest of the community, right? With like either oversupply or making it hard for our existing community to reap the benefits of being like a loyal customer to being on the platform for a long time. So that's a balance too of like getting new users in and trying to get them to understand that this product is awesome and that they can get cool stuff, but not at the expense of an opportunity for existing members that have been with us for a long time. And I still don't know if I'm doing it right or we're doing it right, but I also am open to feedback. So I think personally, locker room is great. I'd love ideas on how we can improve it too. I'd like to test a few things this season as well.
Yeah. I mean, it is tricky. And also Mike made a comment, hit that like and subscribe if you're in here and you haven't yet. But I will say that like, I think in the beginning, a lot of the hype was the fact that you could get in and get something valuable. And like, that was a lot of what made it fun, honestly, in the beginning. But what you're saying also makes sense, which is that the people that have already been here, you don't want them feeling already all left out, looking through the screen door in the rain while all of the new users are having all the fun. So there is a balance there. Hopefully there's some way that you can reward both sides. But that is important too for those new users, at least I think. I mean, I do believe that when things were exploding, a big part of the reason things were exploding was because you'd rip a pack and be like running to the marketplace and saying, holy crap, look what I just got. Not that that's completely sustainable either. So there's like limits here. It's not an easy equation.
I mean, there's balance. We've had a good run the last few months, and I think it's a testament to like if we keep our users happy, they are a growth lever for us. Now, I want to see more new users. We are in the off season, so I'm okay. But as we focus more on doing right by the community and thinking about it from if we stabilize the economy, we are transparent about how we make decisions, even if the community doesn't agree with our decision. I feel like people are reasonable, like, hey, we have to do this for the long term of the platform, and this is how we've identified this wasn't feasible doing, but like I know how I just don't want to like come out with we did the like with I think the feedback with the community has been really good in terms of the engagement of like if you all trust us and you all believe in us, then you help us grow the platform, and the economy, is supported by that. And so I'm a big believer that if we can make our community happy and we do right by them, that they will help us grow. And um, I'm hoping that will be true too going into this season. I mean, we still have a lot to do in terms of acquiring new users, but we do have to keep community happy, because we spent a significant amount of money in marketing last year, um, and we didn't see a lot of new user growth, or people stay. I mean, who wants to stay at a product where the majority of the existing users are not happy?
Right.
So that's like the big thing too, is getting our community to support the new people, and the new people to be happy, and then they will refer more people, and they will be the one, you will be the one to, as you walk by a Top Shot kiosk, to be like, hey, this is great, like let's stop by so you can sign up. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, well, you made an interesting point there. Well, first of all, thank you, Alexo. He shared a hot dog. I can't see it on StreamYard, but thank you for the hot dog. But so something you said previously in an interview was about big plans for marketing in S4, and you threw out some numbers, which is,
Mm-hmm.
if I remember correctly, are somewhere in the 30 to 60 million dollars of
Yeah.
marketing. If I'm getting that right, I'm curious, like, is that a big number compared to what was spent beforehand? And do you have any ideas of like where you want that to go? Are there places that will be new that you want it to go? How, like, what are you thinking for this big old bucket of marketing dollars?
Well, I'll I'll say a few things, but then I don't want like a bunch of media sales rep people like hounding me. So I'll keep
Okay.
it to as light as I can. So then I'm not going to get like just completely hounded on my inbox. But there's a few things. I mean, we learned a lot too last year. We did spend a significant amount of money. We spent a lot on athletes. We spent a lot on sponsorships. We did some in-air integrations, and I think we'll also be better too. We'll be better off with All Day now launching too, because we are still technically one marketing team in terms of our strategies and testing things. So All Day is using using things, the learnings and things that we did wrong, and they're testing new things that we can also potentially test. So I think we'll only get smarter, well, quicker with All Day around. But the things that we're looking into, traditional stuff like TV as always, but a lot more too, like team captains. We're increasing the budget, right, year over year. Live breakers, we're doing more around that. I think too, like trying to go from our first degree of community into what's the next circle, which could be card collectors, sports fans. Sports fans is so broad though, that's really hard to get market share of, like sports fans too. It's like, is our product ready for a general sports fan, or is it more ready for a card collector, or is it more ready for, a speculator or someone like that's more into that mindset? But we have plans to obviously just expand out. We're not going to be growing just by posting on Twitter or sending an email out. We have to be a bit more bold and take a little bit more risk. And also just, again, it goes back to like, I look back and reflect on our marketing from last year and like, hey, where did we go wrong? And kind of looking at everything from our channels and our spend strategy to the types of creatives and partnerships we did. And I think the first thing is we led with the NFT pitch, which I think now is, you don't want to lead too much with the Web3 jargon. You want to lead with what the value is and the experience that someone's going to get, and kind of have the Web3 stuff kind of fade into the background that powers it. So not leading with NFT as much as what the value is for the end user. And I think also being a little bit more focused on who are we speaking to. So we kind of had a one note message last year that was pretty broad. But if you're talking to a card collector, it's a very different pitch. It's like all of our, I was talking to a card collector and he was like, wait a minute. So you basically have every card is serialized. I'm like, yeah, every card's numbered basically, which is technically true. So like, there's like, holy shit, like every card's numbered. And I was like, I didn't think about that for a while. And the whole like, it's a hell of a lot easier to transact than like putting stuff on eBay, and that like that's a pain in the ass. But then if you're talking to a sports fan, hey, this enhances your experience watching the game or being at the game, or connecting with players or finding a new community too. If you're a season ticket holder or you go to a lot of games, like how do you awkwardly go up to someone and say, hey, I've seen you here many a times, do you want to hang out and create a club? Whereas like Top Shot communities are very naturally created, and like I was at the Pack Rip City meetup, and it's a really cool, very like broad group of people that probably wouldn't be hanging out with each other unless this was facilitating it. But they all love the Blazers. And I find like I would much rather hang out with people like that than some of the people I have to sometimes social with. So I would love to be more involved in some of the community stuff. But there's definitely that community aspect, and then we're gonna still make mistakes. We're gonna be testing a few things. Some won't land, but I hope the stuff that does land is the stuff that like obviously bumps us up to that next tier. So and the last point too is like when I look on the back end, we've had about a million signups. Now that hasn't equated to even half of that in terms of users for Top Shot. When I think of users, we think of payers, we think of people that come on a weekly basis, people that participate in packs, people that are active in the marketplace, people that are active in the community on Discord, and we'll be looking at a bunch of different things too, so that we value users correctly. So we've been using things like typical growth things like LTV modeling and figuring out how much is a user worth to us, and all of that. But we have a lot better data now. We also can help figure out instead of just thinking again about evaluating a user the same, we can look at, okay, well, if these types of users are very engaged in pack drops and they'll show up every time to a pack drop, that value is worth X more to us. Or, they're more engaged with the community, that has an X, we can add a factor to that then increases the likelihood of them being able to refer users. So, and then obviously our conversion rates need to increase. So we have a really high sign up to purchase rate, mainly because it's so horrible to even sign up for Top Shot. So once a user actually gets, and our sign up rate is horrible. So a user that actually comes to our site, whether it's desktop or mobile, and ends up registering with us is abysmal. But the people that do end up getting through that funnel are very high converters, and you have to have a lot of intent to want to actually like stick with our funnel right now. So if we can increase that, that will bring down our purchase rate by hopefully not too much, but if we can increase our conversion rate on the top of the funnel, that will like significantly help us, and we don't have to spend a ton of money on that.
So if you compare those kind of rates to like what they were during the hype days of 2021, were those conversion rates probably a lot higher and a lot crazier? Like if you look back when, I would imagine that's kind of a stupid question actually, because when it's going on, when
necessarily it's not a stupid question. It wasn't sustainable.
right,
So
of course
I
not.
like trends that are up and to the right and sustainable over time, not like and also right. We drove a lot of extractors to the platform.
Yeah, it's true.
So again, that goes back to the types of users that we want to bring in, and there's behaviors that we can look at. And I know I talk very clinically about users, but I look at data all day, and we have product team, and like I'm a very analytical person, and we have a creative team and all of that. But at the end of the day, I'm in charge of making sure that we keep the lights on and that our product is here for the long haul. So I'm just a little bit more of the conservative, pessimistic type. But I love all of our users, first of all. But yeah, I think that run that we had, right, wasn't very sustainable. I obviously want to see growth, but I don't think it's healthy for us to have those massive spikes where people come in for the wrong intentions. They come in thinking that tomorrow they're going to be a millionaire, rather than coming in to understand that this is a platform and this is like something that is supposed to be for a longer period. Like you're here for an extended period of time. Now you don't have to be in here all the time. Like with the crypto winter, we actually have now, crypto winter has been good to us. We actually saw better numbers during the crypto winter because unfortunately some projects ended up not doing so hot and users came back to some more tried and true platforms. And so we saw our numbers actually increase during the crypto winter and users that have been lapsed coming back into the platform. So now it's just about like trust and confidence and sustainability with our platform, which hopefully we have some volatility, but not like massive swings every single day.
Yeah.
It's not healthy in my stress level in my heart as well. So
Right.
yeah.
No, that makes sense. And also, someone said in the comments, and you were alluding to this as well. I think it was Coffee Attack, but he said something about current users, and I know you mentioned that as well. Like, take care of your current users, and I agree with that. I think the vibes are healthy when the current users are happy, and I think a lot of that has to do with just like supply, and I know someone else asked just about like no, I think it was mostly about supply, actually. I think if you have a handle on supply, then the current users won't freak out. If current users don't freak out, then you'll start to get the positive vibes, the positivity. Um, the other thing, actually, I really quickly wanted to ask, and I know we're like a little over an hour, so you just let me know whenever you need to go. Uh, but
Let me look at my calendar.
all right, yeah, look at your calendar. I'll ask you that question once you know.
Alex here. Okay, we can do 5 more minutes.
All right, 5 more minutes. So you talked about the team captain program, how you're putting more resources into the team captain program. I wanted to ask if is there any idea of Top Shot help like doing a little more of the support logistically, let's say, or marketing side for the team captain program? Because you mentioned something about how the team captains are they're like a method of they are a way of grabbing more of the casual NBA fans in their city, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, if team captains are not like very well organized or don't have like the charisma or whatever the case may be, then that's going to vary. And some team captains are going to be able to grab a lot of people into their events, others less.
Yep.
Like, so I know that you guys are putting more money into it. So where does your head go? Because right now it seems like it's very much on a case by case basis amongst the different team captains.
So the long term is that, well, not even the long term, is that we're going to have standard metrics for everyone of like, there's like a baseline. This is how much you get team captains every single year, but we're on a monthly or whatever basis that we give it out. But if you hit these metrics or you get above this, you get more money. And, that's how I run our growth team too. It's like if you basically have unlimited budget as long as you hit these metrics. And so if team captains are doing better than other team captains, they should be getting more budget. Like that to me seems like a pretty reasonable expectation and reward for team captains is like you should get more money because you're doing a good job with your community, and that could look like things like retaining your community, growing your community, the sentiment. I haven't finalize what the KPIs are going to be, but they're going to be objectives and also public to the captains so they know how they're doing with their business. And the measurability of that is going to be the harder part of like we do have obviously the referral mechanism now, so we could give unique referral codes to every single captain or whatever it might be and be able to track on that end. I haven't figured out exactly how I want to do it, but the intent is you can be as involved or you can be as good of a team captain or as shitty as a team captain as you want to be. But the more and better that you are, or a student, you just might be getting, probably will be getting a lot more money. So that's how we'll probably do it. I think that's fair.
Okay.
We're not a charity. We're still a business at the end of the day. But so, everyone's part of this ecosystem. And everyone's part of our company in my eyes. But I also don't want to right now, team captains' jobs are way too hard in terms of, I know that they need more tools, like to manage communities, to put on events, to do merch stuff. Right. And so we're working on that side too, so that it's a hell of a lot easier to be a team captain than it is today. And it's not as tedious. as it is. I completely, I understand, I see what's going on with the program, and I see how hard the captains work, and want to make sure that that's scalable, like that it's is scalable for them to be able to take on more.
For sure. Yeah, I think they're all obviously doing a great job. Technically, they're volunteers, but obviously, I think whatever can help them level up, you will probably see the results in the growth area. All right. Well, I feel like we have 2 more minutes. Someone asked a question earlier about, so again, this is something about All Day. I don't know a ton about All Day, but from what I understand, All Day has some former NFL employees on their staff. Does
Hmm.
Dapper have any plans to hire people that formerly are part of the NBA to work on Top Shot?
We do.
Okay. As in you have them or you have plans?
We have them.
Okay.
We do. We have them.
Got it. All right. Well, that was a quick one.
Now,
Uh,
next question.
let's see. Have you thought about at all about like other NBA personalities, like who have major podcasts or YouTube channels, like Worldwide Wob was mentioned, or Bill Simmons?
Yes.
Okay.
Um, so for me, I like the personalities. When I think about NBA personalities, there's obviously like how much do you lean into like the hot take personalities versus like the ones that are, I wouldn't say boring, but maybe more analytical or more like sophisticated in their analysis of the game or players. So like if anyone has any suggestions, please send them over my way. But we are looking into that of like testing more like dimensions within our moments too, like audio, having more around, TV personalities or just announcers in general. We've tested a few things, obviously last series, but nothing significant. But yeah, like we gotta test it more, but we haven't figured out the right recipe yet.
Yeah.
But again, I just don't want folks that are like personalities that take away from actually what Top Shot is. Like they're a lot of them obviously are their own brands, and the reason they're successful is that they are a personality. So it's like a how to get like the right type of like just hot take enough-ish with being actually articulate and understand the game and can analyze and be a trustworthy source. So if whoever that is, please send it my way.
All right. Well, I think we're just about at time. Well, here's a quick one. Any date in mind for PAX Marketplace?
Yes, but not date.
Okay. All right.
I think everyone knows there's on the, I don't know how in the weeds people want to be, but on the technical side, right, our moments are on chain, but our packs are not. So the work that we're doing on the back end is getting our packs on chain. So then you would be able to sell packs. So maybe just watch the blockchain, and then you will probably you will know maybe before anyone else.
Got it. All right. Well, hold on. One more. Trucks of Flow. Any word on Trucks of Flow?
I literally was told, do not comment on this. I have been bugging every single week on what it means. So that's my do not comment on this. Stop bugging us every week.
All right, that's fair. Well, I have to drop one clip here because you are such an asset to our community. So we're going to give you the community drop.
We love the community.
So you did allude to cultish behavior. So I thought that
right.
was only right. All right. So Janie, I'm going to let you go. Thank you for joining us. Chat, stick around. We'll do a quick little giveaway in honor of Janie's time here on the show. So thank you, Janie.
Thanks, everyone. And please reach out if you got questions or comments or liked or hated what I had to say. But I really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Janie.
Back anytime, Tandy.
Awesome. I'll keep that in mind. Take care.
Bye.
All right. Well, that was Janie. That was great. So guys, we'll do a little giveaway. I don't really even know what we'll give away, but we will do a giveaway. So I wanted to do a duck race, but it's not working. So we're going to do the giveaway tool. We'll do hashtag Janie. We'll share that just so you remember how to spell Janie. Here we go. Where is it? Hashtag Janie, and that will get you into the giveaway. There it is. Hashtag Janie. So get those hashtag Janies in there. And we'll still talk a little bit. Sorry, I would have mentioned more of your comments, but it was a little bit hard. The comments were really flying in here. I really appreciate all of you that came to hang out today. I hope that it was as enjoyable for you as it was for me. I mean, I'm kind of like halfway in the clouds, reading comments, reading notes, doing 1,000 different things, thinking about answers or questions as follow-ups to her answers. So that's the kind of thing where I listen to it the next day and I think, oh, okay, that was a terrible question, or that was decent. So that's kind of where I'm at, just so you know. But yeah, it is giveaway time. We wanna reward the people that are here. All I ask is to please like and subscribe if you haven't yet. Let's pump those numbers up a little bit. Let's like and subscribe. I'm seeing those Janie comments coming through. It's if anyone else is saying something, it's kind of hard. Buy a locker pack for the giveaway. All right, I could do that. Let's do it. Oh, you know what though? It's this stupid thing where the phone that I have to log in with, the phone number is my Portuguese one. My SIM card isn't in it, so that's not going to work, unfortunately, unless I go get my phone and do it a different way. I don't know. But we see all the comments coming in. Apparently, the former attorney, the judgy, had won first place three super drafts in a row. Rigged. Regulator, thank you. Rock and roll, thank you. I appreciate the positive comments. That's very nice. Whoa, all right, we got a giveaway. Tandy NFTs will give away an S3 LeBron. Thank you so much to Tandy NFTs. So an S3 LeBron is up for grabs. It looks like we have 65 entries though, and there are 97 of you watching. So, you want that LeBron or not? Let's see what else we got here. Portuguese SIM card. Yeah, I have a cell phone in Portugal, believe it or not. Believe it or not. Shout out Rock and Roll for the music. I agree. I give Mike and those guys some flack for listening to that song 1,000 times, but he is incredibly talented, I must say. If Rock and Roll wanted to give me a Tandy Time intro, you bet your ass I would use it. So let's see here. So yeah, I mean, I'll listen to this again tomorrow and we'll get a better idea of sort of the main points here, but I thought that was a really good interview. I thought that Janie was open, candid, told us a lot of stuff, very candid on the hardcore thing, which was funny. I mean, I don't think any of us really expect hardcore is coming down the pike anytime soon, but that was still pretty funny when she said that they're like effing crazy. That was great. And we did have some questions here that I starred, and unfortunately, I couldn't ask all of them. Things such as, after the S1 moments extracted from the locker room, can we light the locker room on fire? I did ask about the locker room, though, being lit on fire. It sounded like that wasn't something that was happening. And Chubert asked if S4 doesn't bring in new users, do we panic? I mean, I'm sure Janie will panic if S4 doesn't bring in new users. That's for sure. Chef Prez, this was also a really good question. I didn't get to ask it, but if pack prices will be the same or more, because Janie said something about how she kind of has to keep supply low, but take some revenue hits. So I am curious if that's going to mean that the prices will get a little higher since the revenue is going to get hit. Again, you have to balance the sentiment of the community. If you're going to anger the community, then that's not going to work either when you're already trying to benefit the community by keeping the supply low, right? And I do believe it does sound like they're going to experiment with TV commercials. I think we've learned our lesson. It's not going to be Kevin Durant, and I believe that would be a good thing. I mean, Kevin Durant that didn't go so well, largely because of the technical difficulties that happened with the way the loot packs worked. But yeah, I think you got to give it a fresh take. Maybe go away from the comedic take. That was kind of the comedic take with Kevin Durant and the kids on the basketball court. Anyway, I don't know. All right, so we're giving away this LeBron James 60K. There's 75 entries currently. Let's just see if there's anything else here to talk about while we let a couple people jump in here. Poker Pro Eric is the worst. although a fun hang in real life. All right. Alexo's in there. He's trying to win that LeBron. Best thing to happen in the state so far. I went to a water park with my son. That was probably the best thing to happen in the state so far. Let's see. Boudevane doesn't want the LeBron. Okay. Ryan wants to offer an S4 Sue Bird. Yes, of course. That's incredibly generous, Ryan. Thank you. So Ryan's going to offer an S4 Sue Bird. So we got a LeBron James and a Sue Bird, arguably two of the best basketball players of their generation, being given away to those of you in the chat who have liked and subscribed. And Poker Pro Eric prefers Tandy in the house versus Tandy at a water park. But what about Tandy in the kill room? I thought that was a good one too. I thought Tandy in the kill room was pretty good. We didn't hear anything about Dapper gift cards. No, we did not. Okay, so Boudevane will give it back if he wins the LeBron. That's very kind of you. You guys are thirsting for some Trump. All right, we'll give you a little Trump. Where's Trump? Where's he at? Where is he at? Is it working? It's not working, guys. I just made the face, but I don't see it. Hold on. Yeah, something's not working on the back end. I'm going to have to reset that. So yeah, Trumpy might not be working today, to the delight of many who can't stand when I do Trumpy. Trumpy time. That's what we call it. All right. So we're going to run the first one. Here we go. We got 80 people. This is your last chance to enter. 80 people. Here we go. This is for the LeBron. Who will win the LeBron? It is Chicken Frog. Chicken Frog. Congratulations, Chicken Frog. You have won the LeBron. Just enter your Top Shot name in there, Chicken Frog, and Tandy NFTs can just send that directly to you, unless he sent it to me. Do we really have only 15 likes? Oh my God, are you guys for real? No, that's not true. All right. All right. We have like 100 likes. So guys, Chicken Frog, what is your Top Shot name? Please get that in the chat. We are waiting for you to get it in there. Get that Top Shot name into the chat. Only 15 frogs. All right, let's see. Is this still not working? I'm trying to see if the Trumpy's working back here. Let's see if it's working back here. Uh-oh, it's not working, guys. Oh well, I probably have to restart my computer. So sorry for people that wanted the Trumpy, but Trumpy's not working today. Let's see, Chicken Frog, where are you? There it is. All right, so I will keep that in mind. You are the winner, Chicken Frog. The next one is for the Sue Bird. So here we go. This is for the Sue Bird common. Sue Bird, legendary WNBA player. And here we go. Trumpy is dead. Trump is in jail. Set him. Set him and forget him. Set him. Congratulations. Oh, we got another one. Set him. He just won and he's throwing in. Look at that. I think that might have happened right before he won. Wow. Set him. What a nice guy. Set him. See, guys, if you give away a moment, you might win a moment. That's what we just saw. Set him just gave away a moment literally seconds before he won one. That's incredible. So Set him, you have won the Sue Bird, and you're giving away a 60K KD after this one. So Set him, what is your username? Put that in there. Set him gets the bird. I'm still trying to get this Trumpy to work in the back. It's just not working. Just not working. TS Maddies. All right, so next we have the Kevin Durant 60K. Here we go. Who's going to win the Kevin Durant 60K? And who knows, if one of you gives something away during this spin, maybe you'll win it. Let's see. Here we go. We're going to click it. Poker Pro Eric. That is rigged. Poker Pro Eric wins the Kevin Durant 60K. Poker Pro, he attends every show, which gives him a pretty good chance at winning these things. So congratulations, Poker Pro Eric. Unbelievable. So rigged. So Poker Pro Eric, just get your name in there in the chat again, just so we can make sure we've got the right name. But he's never won. He's never won on this show before. So thank you to Setum. And yeah, Trumpy Tandy. I can't believe Trumpy Tandy's not working. I'm so sad. What is going on back here? Like I got these other weird filters like that. Like watch this. Like, hold on. This is actually kind of funny. This could be the simp one. What if we do this? Is this when we're simping? Is that a good simp filter? I'm feeling pretty simpy right now. So Poker Pro Eric, get your username in the chat, please. Is this not a simpy filter? All right, someone said no, so I guess it's not. See, these weird filters in the back are working. I'm on a beach, you know. I've got I don't even know what is this stuff. A lot of random stuff back here, but the only one I want isn't working. Nothing's working. I'm clicking everything, guys. Oh, there's the duck. Are you kidding me? The duck is the only one that's going to work? What is this? Hulk Hogan's working. Batman's working. There I am. You thought you could keep me away, didn't you? You thought you could keep me away, but you couldn't. Tandy, let me tell you something. I tell you did a good job, but actually, you did pretty shitty. If we're being honest, you did pretty bad. You are a terrible host. Terrible host. One of the worst hosts I've ever seen. Exactly. One terrible host. No charisma. No energy. Incredibly weak. So actually, I would say that if you were any good, you'd have me on the show earlier, but you couldn't do it because you couldn't work your computer. You're a sad and sorry, low-energy man, and quite frankly, Janie would be a fool to come back on your show because I think you're an idiot, and I think you're sick, and I think you're sad, and look at that. Don't tell anybody, but Nude HD is actually one of my favorite websites. NudeHD.xyz. We love it, don't we, folks? We love Nude HD. Well, there's Poker Pro Eric's username, but we love NudeHD.xyz. Nude HD. Feel really good. Get the hand lotion out and go to Nude HD XYZ. Make sure your hands are very well moisturized. Nude HD XYZ. All right. So we got Trumpy in there. That's good. All right, guys. I guess that's the show. We gave away some moments. We got a LeBron out there. We got Kevin Durant out there. We got a Sue Bird out there. We interviewed Janie. What else do you really need? That's all you could ask for. So thank you all. We'll do a little. Let's see. We'll do a little Roham.
Rohan.
We got a couple questions though. Any idea when the snapshot is coming? No, we don't know. We didn't ask. We have no idea. We got a Boo. I think someone doesn't like Trumpy. Airplane Mode loves Trumpy. Zavala Ball loves the Trumpy. Nathaniel Kennedy, top 10 show. Nathaniel, I believe I've never seen that icon before. So please make sure you're subbed. We can hang out again after this. So it's locker room pack time. If you're going for those locker room packs, guys, I wish you a lot of luck. If somebody rips a LeBron James, just sign out of Twitter. Don't log into Twitter again for a week. Save your mental health. That is it for me, though. I have to go do real life things. I would love to just hang out and do Trumpy all day and interview Dapper Labs employees, but unfortunately, that's just not the way it goes. But thank you all for joining. Like and subscribe. We'll be back again soon. Maybe we'll have Janie again soon. If you like and subscribe, you'll know about it. It's free. All right, guys. Well, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for hanging out, and we will talk again soon. Bye-bye.
Static Selector.